Hi, in this video I'm going to talk about squeeze page bullet points, and not every squeeze page uses bullet points. Some just have a big headline, maybe a subheadline, and that's pretty much it apart from the sign up box. Others have an autoplay video, so there's not even a headline, but quite a lot have bullet points to help persuade people to sign up to your email list. And the number of bullet points you use is up to you, but conventional wisdom suggests 3 or 5 or maybe as many as 7. If you've got less than 3 items for your bullet points, it's probably better to use them as subheadings because visually 1 or 2 bullet points just look lonely. And although if that said, if the bullet points are fairly long, you might be able to get away with using 2 of them. I've done that before on sales letters and blog posts, so there's no reason to think it wouldn't work for squeeze pages. But most people will choose an odd number of bullet points, and usually that number will be 3 or 5. Why an odd number? We seem to react better to odd numbers of things. An even number seems more contrived, and design experts, yeah, they research this as well as everything else, suggest that because even numbers are by definition symmetrical, whereas odd numbers aren't, that forces your eyes to move around rather than just accept things. So it could be a movement as well. And some academic research I found suggests that 3 or 5 items in a list is the ideal number, and that we struggle to process more than 9 items, so that should be your absolute maximum. It also suggested that batches of odd numbers items help us to remember things better. So I know you're not particularly trying to get people to remember things on your sign-up page, but if they remember you, that's useful. So ideally, I think you should aim for 3 or 5 bullet points to support your main headline, and personally, depending on the length of the bullet points, I like to either bold alternate points in the list, or less often on a squeeze page because my bullets are generally short, bold a few words instead. So on screen, this is an example of how I'd bold alternate lines, and you can see how it helps them stand out on the page rather than being all the same. So the lower batch, they're all the same, and it's not fantastic on a slide like this, but on a WordPress page or whatever, it does actually show a lot better. You can always highlight as well. It's fairly easy to do in WordPress and everything else, so you could do, I'll just show you that. Well, actually I won't because I can't get my PowerPoint thing to display that easily, but basically if you highlight each one, or alternate ones, you can put yellow or something behind them. That'll make them stand out as well. And if you're doing occasional words, you can see that. I'll usually bullet 2 or 3 in each bullet point to draw your eyes to the bits I'd like you to read most. If you're skimming, and people do, then that's what you get drawn to. And again, you can see how it adds to the visual appeal of the bullet points. And some people also like to use images for the bullets. You can see how I've used tick marks above instead of the usual blobs. It's not as easy to do in WordPress by default because the default word processor doesn't do that, but if you want to explore, there are some plugins that will allow you to make your list look prettier, and some of the paidful squeeze page programs also certainly have options to make your bullet points look prettier as well. But regular bullet points work okay, so don't use the I'm looking for a bullet point image as an excuse to procrastinate. Just do it first and tweak it later if need be. Pick the biggest plus points from your giveaway product as the items to include in your bullet points, and personally I like to sandwich the bullets so that the strongest points are the first and the last items in the list, and that's probably based on my mail order background, where we were taught that lots of people go straight to the PS at the end of the letter, much the same way as people will scroll to the end of a sales page to find the price, so that's why first and last. Sometimes the last bullet point is fairly lazy and lots more bullet, and that can work. There's no hard and fast rules when it comes to writing bullet points or anything else, so if you run out of big points to include and need to get to an odd number of points, go for it. Then proofread your bullet points. That's always worthwhile doing. Read them out loud, because you'll pick up the things that are just glaringly whatever if you read them out loud, and decide whether or not you'd get excited by finding out more about them. The more excited you get, within reason, the better the bullets are. But even if they don't produce an adrenaline rush when you read them, they're still likely to be better than no bullet points at all. Testing will prove that hypothesis, but I'd suggest starting with a good headline and some decent bullet points for the first test of your squeeze page. You can always change it later. And if you'd like to find out more about squeeze pages and other things related to internet marketing, click the link below this video and sign up to my list. So click that link and sign up on my squeeze page. Thanks for watching.